Hi. No, don't do that.
You can count today.
I was like, hi.
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 You sound like a goose.
Dying giraffe or something. Hi. Hi.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
We're back.
We chillin'.
We're very peppy
we got
today.
our
We're
college
not
shirts
peppy at
on
all.
today.
It's college commitment decision day.
Even though I'm a junior, I can still wear a college shirt.
But you have to get into college first.
Ouch.
I got in and I committed. Penn State! You're gonna go to Hofstra?
I don't know.
You don't know. I got ice cream today.
You're cool.
I know. I love ice cream.
You're so cool, Breezy.
I'm very cool.
Yeah, so
Take the mic.
what's going on, guys? What we got coming on, Breezy?
Well, we can do this, we can do that. We can't do that.
Why can't we?
Let's go that way.
This one?
Sure.
Okay, so you guys know that here we do a lot of recording. Probably half of it is unusable material because we mess up a lot. So yeah, we don't use a lot of material, but what we
I'm
do
looking at
use,
DECA Archives.
yeah, but what we do use is really important. So in
What's
this
that?
case, we're looking at some of the DECA archives. We have like old pictures.
I don't even care. I'm gonna walk through. Bye.
Wow. Wow, rude. Bye.
Bye. Have fun.
He's supposed to be on the other side of the camera. He's never on camera. Seth? No. No.
Yeah, so we was looking at some of the DECA archives, and just like DECA has archives, so do we. And we just happen to have a lot more. So we have
From
like we have
1972.
so we have like 40 years of footage. That's like 30 plus. Yeah, so we have pretty much 40 years. I can't do math, so I'm not going to do the exact math. But we have like 40 years of footage that we're all 42 according to Breezy years of footage. And so we're trying to all put that together. And so yeah, so why don't you go find out more about how we're putting it together, where we're putting it together, why we're putting it together, and what we're putting together.
And I did the interview. So, with Mr. Doyle.
So go check her out.
Hi, I'm Breezy Hagel here talking with Mr. Doyle about some of our NASDtv archives. So, what are some of the archives that we have?
Well, NASDtv has been shooting videos since 1972, actually.
Wow.
And we have 3 different kinds of tapes dating back to that period. And so we have everything from sports activities to classroom activities to how to do basic algebra videotaped and sitting in a giant catalog in the back of the building.
So, how do people go about finding these? Are they online? Are they like on our district channel? Like
So one of the issues is that we have this gigantic library, 3,000 some tapes, at least 3,000 tapes. And people, to access them, it's just really difficult. We get requests all the time from people who want a DVD copy. But to make a DVD copy is both an expense, which we don't want to incur for the district, and ultimately a time-consuming job for us to do. So we do provide those when people ask us, and it's a little bit of a charge. But we sort of decided that a great thing to do would be to place as many of the videos as possible, or as many as is legal, up online for people to access on YouTube.
So now you said time consuming. How long is it going to take you to upload all of these archives?
So we're going to upload everything we have in the library that we can legally upload. So we're not going to upload anything that we recorded from television or anything that has a licensing fee. So like the musicals, we can't put up online. We can't put up certain songs, like things that have a copyright issue or a licensing issue. And that lowers us to this sort of 3,000 range I'm talking about on tapes. And it takes, in real time, the analog time that it takes to record the tape. So you have a disc or a tape and you roll it to a disc. If the tape is 2.5 hours long, it takes 2.5 hours to do that to start. And then it takes to rip that from the DVD into a digital form, it takes somewhere in the vicinity of 4 hours. So for each tape, each transfer of a 2.5 hour piece, it takes about 6 hours worth of work. The upload time then takes another 3 hours. So it's about 9 hours total, and we need to do 3,000 of these. But that doesn't have to happen in serial, in sequence. So we can be placing things onto DVD at the same time we're ripping them and uploading them. So it isn't like we have a 9-hour day every day doing it. But it does take 9 hours for a 2.5 hour piece. A half-hour piece will take then maybe 2 hours to get up online. That means that if we do one a day, which is about what we look like we can get through, right? And there's 365 days in a year. To do 3,000 tapes could take
9 years.
It could take 9 to 10 years to do this. Now, I anticipate it'll go faster than that.
Yeah.
We're going to find tapes that we're going to find easier routes to go. But today, I'm actually running off a football game from 1982. The football game's 2.5 hours. It's going to take the entire day to do this one job. Like, it'll only be the only thing we can get online.
Now, how do people go about finding the specific event that they want? Are they going to be like organized in different folders? Are they going to be up in like chronological order of when they
so that's
happen?
actually one of the most difficult parts of designing this and figuring out how to do it. The first thing is to be smart about your searches. And that's information that this interview can help. So you go to YouTube and you search NASDtv Archive. There's also a link to us on the NASDtv page, which is NASDtv John Doyle, which you can search to see our current material, Eagle's Eye and that kind of stuff. And there soon will be a link on the high school page, and there's one on the Norristown Men of Excellence page. So you find your way to our page, and from there, there'll be a list of the new stuff and playlists by year,
Okay. So
categorized by sport.
so
or
it's by
activity.
year and by sport?
Yeah, so
Okay.
so there's like 1983 basketball, 1983 football, 1983 girls basketball, and then 1983 sports. So if there was an activity or activities that we only have one or two events, we place them into their own category. And then there's 1983 odd stuff and 1983 events. There's some very weird stuff we have on tape, like the science fair from Burnside School in 1984 that just sort of fits in a weird place. We have a lady who reads stories named Mrs. Miller. And she reads stories to elementary school kids, and we're putting them up, and they're in the odd category. And then after that, there are events, and then there's a folder just for Mr. Norristown, not by year, so that you can just look and find the playlist that's all the Mr. Norristowns. They're being placed in chronological order within the playlists.
Okay.
But they're not going up in chronological order. We're not starting from our 1972 archives. We're really starting from 82 and moving forward because they're the easiest to do. And then we're going to go back to the harder tapes to transfer. But we're trying to do it scattershot, so I'm taking requests. So if people want to request, they can write to nasdtv@gmail.com.
Okay.
And they just have to list either the exact show they want or a category of material. And then we'll see what we have in that category and start to upload it.
So now, what made you want to save all of these pieces of film? Like, did you kind of intentionally know that you were going to do this, or you just saved them anyway?
Yeah, so history is really important. And too often in our world today, we discount history as a nothingness, as something that doesn't exist for us now. And we only think about the new, coolest thing. But when we look back at history, we can find context for what we're doing now. And it's interesting. Like, the stuff's crazy. Like, there's ridiculously weird stuff. Some things that have never been aired, because on our cable channel, we could not legally air some of this stuff because of things that happen in the disc or tape. Now on YouTube, we have a lot more flexibility. There's a wider range of stuff. So slight misbehaviors in a tape from 1987, which we never would have aired, now we can air on YouTube with no problem at all. We could air it on the cable today. They just didn't back then. So there's things people have never seen that we're going to be putting up. There's this fantastic piece of video from like 1976 of kids being forced to lip sync to popular songs in their English class. I have no idea why they did it. It's just crazy stuff. It gives us context for what we're doing now educationally. The other thing is, and the Norristown Men of Excellence came to me, and Trey Hadrick specifically, who works at Eisenhower, came to me and said, could you please try and get some of these games up online? And I said, well, I'm toying this archive idea. That's a great idea to really go for it. And what they're interested in is sort of trying to increase our sports interest. If you watch the games from 96 or 92, the stands are full at every game. When I say full, they're completely packed. When you watch the Bishop Kenrick versus Norristown football game, or the Upper Merion versus Norristown football game, there's thousands of people in those stands, and it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a way of saying, look, this is what we're capable of doing if we can think of the town as having value. It also lets us see people we haven't seen in forever. You know, I showed you today Pearl Smith's cooking on the cooking show. So you get to see a current school board member when she was much younger, making, I think, stuffing or something like that.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It's around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so that like those things are really fun to watch
Yeah.
too. But it is about building community for me. That's what it is, and watching people who've passed away. You know, there are people who we've lost for whatever reason, or people who are still around who want to watch themselves play or show their kids what they did when they were in high
Yeah.
school.
Was there anything else you'd like to add?
I hope people will watch the station. Again, it's search NASDtv Archive.
Okay.
We are looking for financial support to help us purchase 2 tape decks. We need a reel-to-reel 3/4-inch deck, and we need a cassette deck. Men of Excellence are trying to raise money for the cassette deck. These can run anywhere from $150 to $2,000, depending
Wow.
on the quality of the deck and how we get it to us. So, like, I found one in California. The shipping's going to cost us $400 to get it here. The deck only costs $200. So I just need money to get the deck. Half of our library is in these old 3/4-inch tapes, and some of the most interesting stuff. So, I mean, really, there are performances, concerts from '72. There's a member of our current school board teaching math. We used to run an ILS program, and literally there's all of these math discs that are in horrible condition, but they do teach you how to do algebra, geometry, all this stuff. And you get to watch these sort of old teachers teach these lessons in vastly different ways than we do today. I can't put any of that up until I get the equipment
Yeah.
repaired. And the repairing of it turns out to be impossible. So we sent out a deck to get repaired, and it was going to cost us $2,000 to get it repaired. So we decided instead just to purchase one and just run it into the ground by running these tapes. Ms. Custer sits in the back and she converts things from VHS to DVD, and then you guys and I sit at the computers, convert it to digital and upload it. People should follow us on Twitter or subscribe to the channel to find out what we put on. So it's at NASDtv on Twitter, and if they follow us there, they'll see updates of what goes online,
Right, yeah.
which means they can also watch your Eagle's Eye stuff. And if they want to just subscribe, they can subscribe in YouTube, and up will come posted information about what we've put up. We put everything up in parts. So instead of being forced to watch the whole 90-minute basketball game, as many people seem to be doing, you can watch the first quarter and last quarter. So I'm breaking things up into quarters or halves, depending on the activity. And we're right now negotiating for the rights for musicals to be able to find clips from musicals we can use. So, for instance, if this year they did Legally Blonde, we're trying to see if we can legally put up 2 songs from that show. So not the whole musical, but pick 2 representative songs that the director thinks are right about the show and be able to post them. But that's a question mark. We're still fighting for the rights to that. So that's really the story. It's going to be a giant process. I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
be doing an interview about this next year.
Because
again.
then even once we get caught up, 9 years from now, we're going to have 9 years of material that has to still
Exactly.
keep going.
The only thing we're going to continue to put on the regular NASDtv YouTube channel is our programming. So Eagle's Eye and segments from the Hotspot and segments from Spotlight and those kind of things. Some of that, though, may end up on the archive. The full episode of the Hotspot, a full episode of the music show may go to the archive too. But right now the archive's really about after-school activities and events. So like you can watch Graduation from 1978. And that doesn't matter much to who wants to watch Graduation from 78.
Yeah,
But
right.
the people who graduated
From
did.
1978.
And YouTube is international, so no longer, if you're in California, do you have trouble accessing our cable
Right,
channel.
yeah.
You can watch it anywhere.
Okay, well, thanks for giving us some more information about these archives.
A great pleasure.
I'm Breezy Hagel here with Mr. Doyle talking about our NASDtv archives. Now back to the Eagle's Eye.